Good afternoon. My name is Rene Zambrano. It's November 18, 2000. We're Today we're interviewing Mr. Gilbert Castorena for the U.S. Latino and Latina World War II Oral History Project. We're sitting here in Imperial Beach, California, at Mr. Castorena's home. And before we begin, Mr. Castorena, we would like to let you know that we're very appreciative of the time you have volunteered to make this project possible. And let's begin this interview by having you sign this interview agreement.
It's really San Diego instead of Imperial Beach.
Oh, Imperial Beach. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And I'll go ahead and sign it myself. And we'll begin this interview by starting with your mom and dad, your family, where they come from. So let's start from there. Where does your mom and dad come from?
Well, my dad come from Mexico. He come from Sombrerete, Zacatecas,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother came from El Rosario in Lower California, Baja California.
When did they come to the United States?
Well, I don't know the exact dates, but I think my dad came over the early part of the century,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother, she came over, oh, I would say in the neighborhood of 1914. She came on a boat and a ship, and she got off in San Francisco, and that's where she entered the United States.
Why did she come on a boat? For I mean,
I really have no idea.
um, what did both your mom and dad do for a living growing up?
Well, my dad was a carpenter, and for a while he worked for U.S. Civil Service at North Island Naval Air Station. And my mother, she was a homemaker.
Mm-hmm. Where did your family grow up?
We grew up in San Diego. We were all born in the same house in 3957 Alabama Street in North Park in San Diego, California.
Wow. How was it? Tell us about your experiences growing up. Tell us about your community.
Well, we the community was real nice. We had good neighbors, and we got along good with them. And it was a nice atmosphere to grow up in. It uh, made a lot of friends, and I enjoyed my school years when I was going to school. Uh,
What was a typical day for you with your friends, and what were your friends like? Were they mainly Latinos or Mexican, or did you have a diverse?
well, there was very few Latinos. They were mostly uh, Americanos, the and there was very few Latinos in school before I went to school at, my grammar school and junior high. When I got down to high school, San Diego High School, there was a lot more Latinos then.
So North Park was mostly predominantly white
Yes.
then, and going to what was the name of the school you attended?
Well, I attended um, Alice Burney Elementary High School,
Mm-hmm.
and then I attended Horace Mann Junior High School, and then I attended Sandy High School, and I graduated from high school, San Diego High School, in February of 1940.
What were your grammar school years like?
They were uh, they were okay, except I can remember that when I first entered elementary school, I couldn't speak English, so but I still went to school, and they taught me English, and it was uh, it was a I enjoyed my school years, my younger school years. I really enjoyed them, and I enjoyed my fellow students and the teachers and everybody, counselors and everybody concerned.
Mhm. How was it for you going to a school where instruction was not in Spanish but in English? If you can tell us, was that did did you feel that out of place maybe, or did you know that it was going to be okay after a while once you learned the language? Or
Yes, well, I learned the language very young, and I didn't have no problem with my, communicating at school.
Mhm.
I learned English real young, and I got along good with my teachers and my fellow students.
Mhm. Did your parents encourage you to speak English when you were young?
Yes, but my dad and my mother, we all spoke Spanish at home, and but outside the house, when among the English people, English speaking people, we spoke English. But while we were at home, we always spoke Spanish.
Hmm. And your teachers, did your teachers did they support you? You know, did when you said that you went to school and you didn't know no English. How did teachers support you in that respect to help you develop your English?
They were very helpful and understanding. They were really, I can say that they were very helpful, and they really helped me
Hmm.
in my younger years.
Did your parents learn English?
Yes, especially my mother, my father. Well, yes, he did too. He went to night school.
Hmm.
He
What school did he go to?
he went to San Diego High School night school.
Hmm. Did he get a diploma or a certificate or a completion maybe?
Well, I think he got a uh, completion certificate, for the learning English and
Hmm.
going to school at night.
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, that's where he went to school to learn English and to become a citizen. He took citizenship too there.
Why did he become a citizen? Did he have any particular reason
Well,
why he chose to become a citizen?
no, I think that we lived here, and it was more advantages to all of us, and so that's why he became a citizen.
Hmm. Now, did you say you were born here in the United States?
Yes,
Uh, what year were you born?
1920.
Hmm. Date or month?
I was born December the 20th of 1920.
And where were you born?
I was born in San Diego, California. Um,
Hospital?
no, I was born at home.
Was it typical for people to be born at home?
Well, at that time, it wasn't uncommon, but a lot of people were born in the hospital. But our doctor was a family doctor. He was really a wonderful doctor, and he delivered all his children at home.
Wow. So the house on in North Park, that's where you were born.
Yeah,
That's where
Alabama Street.
Alabama Street. Was he a your doctor? Was he a Mexican doctor?
No, no.
Hmm. And going back to your school years, did you have any Latina teachers or Mexican teacher or teachers that spoke Spanish?
Um, not that I can remember.
when you transferred to Horseman Junior High, was that school any different than Bernie?
Well, when we went to junior high school, uh, we started moving around from different classrooms. You know, we had different classrooms we moved around to. But in elementary, we always stayed in the same room. We, you know, all day long. But when I went to junior high, we moved to every class. We went to another room.
Was that school any different than your grammar school?
Well, not exactly. Uh, I did get interested in sports when I played football, basketball, and I was on the track team, and I enjoyed that too. I also was in the glee club. You know, I used to sing in high school.
Had you pretty much had acquired English by that time, by junior high?
Oh yes,
Mm-hmm.
By that time I was.
When you were also practicing your Spanish?
Oh yes, like I said, we spoke Spanish at home, and it was good because it kept us in touch with our native tongue. You know, I mean Spanish. You know, which I was really grateful.
Yeah. How about a student population? Was there more Mexican students that attended Horseman?
No, there wasn't very. There was very few. There were very few. With mostly all Anglo, you know, American.
Did you ever did you ever speak Spanish at school?
Not that I can remember. I might have with. We did have one or two students there, and I don't remember, but it could have been possible that I did communicate in Spanish with them sometime. You know.
But there wasn't any rules against speaking Spanish.
No, we didn't have no rules.
What motives, or what were your motives for to become involved in many activities in high school
In high school,
or junior high? Junior high.
well, like I said, I really enjoyed going out for sports, being in the glee club, and I enjoyed the social gatherings we had. You know, that we had different proms and different dances and things. I enjoyed that, and it.
So you like the school environment atmosphere?
Yes, I really liked it. I mean, I look forward to going to school. You know, every week. You know, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed my school years. I had a good time.
So, was it pretty much that during growing up, you grew up with a lot of mainly Anglo um, teens or
Yes, I would say so. I would say so. Except when I got to, like I said, when I went to high school, when I went to San Diego High School, there was a great portion of Latinos there, you know. But like in elementary and junior high school, there wasn't hardly any other Latinos. I grew up in a Anglo-American community.
How about your parents? Did your parents where did your parents spend most of their time, like their social time? Um did they come around the low income community, or did they also have a lot of Anglo friends?
Yes, my mother was real friendly, all friendly with her neighbors, and she had different friends. And my dad belonged to the Alianza España Americana, and he used to go to their weekly meetings.
Alancia España
Uh-huh.
Americana?
Americana.
What what um what did that organization do for people?
Well, it was more or less a fraternal organization, and they did have they sometimes, like on special days, it help people, especially, the underprivileged. But it was mostly a fraternal organization.
Would you say that your family during your youth years, were they pretty well off, or did they struggle to make ends meet?
Well, it we weren't real bad off, but he was rough along the way. And me and my brother, we had paper routes, which helped us, on my. It was good because it helped us buy some of our clothes and some of the things that we needed,
Hmm.
and buy the pass to go to on the streetcar when we used to go to school. And
And how would you your overall academic um did you do overall did you do good academically in schools?
well, yeah, I would say that I was above average. I
Hmm. So you went to San Diego High School. What would you say were the differences between San Diego High School and the schools that you went to before that?
Horseman Junior.
Yes.
Well, it seemed like when I went to high school, San Diego High School, there was more activities and more functions to attend and more activities, and but it was a real good atmosphere and environment.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed my high school and my junior high school years in school.
Did you experience any discrimination along the way at any point when you grew up in North Park?
No, not in North Park. No, the first time that I actually felt discriminated against or felt a little bit of discrimination was when I was a senior in high school, and the principal he met with every student
Hmm.
and sort of had a face-to-face interview with us, and he asked me what I planned to do, and I told him, I said, well, I'm going to go to work at Consolidated here in San Diego. No, I told him first I was going to join the Navy. I had intentions of joining the Navy. And he said, the Navy's not taking everybody. That was early part of 1940. He said, what do you do then? He said, I told him, well, I think I'll go to work at Consolidated.
Hmm.
And this was the first time that I felt discrimination when he said, well, Consolidated isn't hiring Mexican Americans. So it never dawned on me, or that was the first time that I that I felt really discriminated against.
What did you reply to him?
Well, I don't remember, to tell you the truth. I don't remember now, but I I was ready to go out and hit the community and find a decent job if I could. But I had plans, and I was hoping that I'd join the Navy. I graduated in February, and I went down with some other friends, and I think of the other people that went down. I think there was anyway. I was about one of the only ones that they took at that time. So
When that experience you had with the principal, did how did that make you feel? Did you ever ask anybody else, like your parents, for example, or follow up on that
no,
remark?
no, I never did. But like I say, it came as a shock to me because I didn't expect it.
Hmm.
And it made me well. I really can't say it was the first time that I ever been discriminated against, and it was the first time that I felt it, and but I can't remember exactly what my reaction was to it. But I was surprised that he told me that. But I was glad that he was honest with me. At least he was honest with me.
Mm-hmm. Now, was he interviewing you for careers or?
No, what they did is that they interviewed every senior. The principal did, face to face. Yeah, and he interviewed every senior, and that was when he interviewed me that happened.
Mm-hmm. What about your, brothers and sisters? Did they also did they also attend the same schools you did?
Yes, my they graduated from except my younger sister. I don't think she graduated, but my sister Mercedes and my brother Ramiro, they graduated from San Diego High School too. And then my brother worked. I think it was a Consolidated at that time, and then he went into the Navy, and he was in the Navy 1 or 2 years, and then got out, and then he went to work at Naval Air Station North Island for not too long, a short time, but then he joined the police department, and he put 30 years in the San Diego Police Department, and he retired as a sergeant.
What year did he retire?
I think it was 79.
And this was your brother, what?
Ramiro
Ramiro. Okay.
Castorena.
Um,
Ramiro.
During the Great Depression, how did your family deal with the circumstances, social and unemployment that was going on? Was your dad unemployed, for example?
Yes, well, my dad was unemployed he hunted work. He was a go-getter. He hunted work. And I remember he even got to the point where he set pins in the bowling alley a couple of times. He really got sore from it. But he even during the Depression, he still managed to make a little living off of it. I mean, working here and there. And then they had I guess it was the WPA and the other things that helped. But he did find it rough when he was on the farm. He really looked for work. He looked all over. And everything was like in a standstill. They weren't building, and he was working and contracting. As a carpenter.
During that period, because of the unemployment and the poverty, and the all the all the things that people were experiencing, the government chose to send a lot of Mexicans back to Mexico. And in fact, there was 10,000 Mexicans from San Diego that were sent under the Repatriation Act. Mm-hmm. Did your family or friends were they affected by that?
No, I can remember. I don't remember exactly, but I can remember there was a few families that went back to Mexico. But a lot. I would say the majority of them stayed.
Mm-hmm. Any of your friends or relatives affected by that?
No.
So, when you graduated from high school, then you decided to join the. You were one of your first from your friends that you had. You were the only one that got accepted to join the military.
Yes, I think there was two of us, and I think altogether was 5 or 6 of us, and they only took 2 of us.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the names of the other?
Well, the other one was Frank Schwartz. I remember him, but I don't remember the others.
So what happened? Then you did you go to training camp?
Yeah, I went to the Naval Training Station here in San Diego, and then I tried for a school. They give tests, and I tried for aviation metalsmith school and also hospital corps school, and I was accepted for the hospital corps school. And I was sort of happy because the training was here in San Diego at the San Diego Naval Hospital. I got to stay home.
So, what were your duties during that period? At in the Navy Hospital Corps School, what exactly did you learn to
Well,
do?
we learned to become a hospital corpsman, and I had hospital a lot of ward duty. You know, I was a hospital corpsman on the wards. As a matter of fact, one of the last patients that I attended was Major General Joseph Pendleton, who they named the Marine Corps Camp Pendleton after. He was my patient.
What was his name again?
Joseph Pendleton.
And now the training center's name Camp Pendleton, right?
Where I went to training center?
No, there's a training center today called Camp Pendleton, right?
Yeah, it's a Marine Corps
It's a Marine
station.
Corps
Yeah,
station.
they named it after him.
Before we get into your experience and trace your the different things you did in the military, um, where were you at when Pearl Harbor got attacked?
I was stationed up in Iceland, and when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, I happened to be in Iceland at that time.
So you were in Iceland, right? You were in Iceland, stationed there.
Yes.
When did you leave to Iceland?
We left. Well, let's see. In July, and then we came back around March of the next year of 42.
And so, being stationed there, what were your reactions and the reactions of other people that were stationed there with you?
Well, I got along real good with my fellow Marines, you know, fellow corpsmen, and it was most of the people there were pro-German, you know. They were pro-German, and the reason that the Marines went up there was the Germans were concentrating off of Norway, and they were going to come over to. If they got Iceland, then they control the North Atlantic, you know, because they could control the North Atlantic. So that's the reason that the Marines went up there, and we occupied it to keep the Germans from getting there. You know.
You said the Marines were pro-German?
No, the people.
Oh, the people.
The Icelandic people.
Oh, okay. Oh, the people in that.
Yes.
In Iceland. Okay. So at the time, did you already had or did that military or Marines and government knew that the war was coming closer to the United States?
Well, I guess they did. And I know that the Germans sunk one of our ships that was taking mail to us up there, the Reuben James, and they lost over 100 officers and men. And that was before
Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
What year was this?
40, 41.
And this was German U-boats?
Yes,
How did the U.S. government react to this? Did you guys get any special orders after that incident happened?
Well, not especially. I know that we had patrols over the island. We patrolled the island, and then afterwards we got the P-40s, that fighters that came up and were up there, to
to
sort of help you out, protect us.
reinforce?
That.
Yeah. So during that period, what was the role of the U.S. in the war that had already started in Europe?
Like I say, we were there when December the 7th, when
Mm-hmm.
Pearl Harbor
Mm-hmm.
got bombed, and we knew that we'd be involved somewhere, especially being Marines, we're the first to fight,
Mm-hmm.
and
Now,
we were getting prepared and
mhm.
everything.
How was the United States helping the other countries? Where that was the United States helping other countries at the time?
I think they were. I think we were having they were taking stuff up past Iceland up to Russia. They were taking goods up to Russia, and also I understand they were helping England too. Taking
Mm-hmm.
material and supplies to England.
So the attack from the U-boats was not of any surprise to you guys then, right?
Not especially, no.
Okay. What happened from uh from Iceland? Did you go back home from there?
Yeah, so how we came back, and we come down back home to San Diego, and we were stationed at Camp Elliott, and that was up and then later on in the year, then we went over to New Zealand, and then from New Zealand, we got our orders, and we went to Guadalcanal,
Mm-hmm.
and played in that
Mm-hmm.
campaign.
What did you guys do over in New Zealand?
Well, we mostly trained, and we went on long marches and trained over there.
Any specific training?
No, they more or less were giving us schooling in jungle warfare, because we knew that we'd probably, end up somewhere in the fighting the Japanese in the jungle.
What kind of training did you guys get for the jungle warfare?
And well, it taught us to be able to. It taught us to fight through vegetation, and the corpsmen, we carried a machete, and of course that was to help make uh, splints, for broken limbs and things, and also help to clear the vegetation, for wherever we were going.
Mm-hmm.
It rained so much up there in Guadalcanal that there was a lot of vegetation. It was really, it was thick with vegetation.
You were a corpsman, hospital corpsman,
Yes.
or a corpsman. Did you have to have any special training specifically?
Well, when we were up in Iceland, they taught us to shoot a 45, and I asked them, I said, well, we're non-combatants, we're on the Geneva Convention, and they said, well, no, they were going to teach us anyway. And later on, we were grateful that they did, because the enemy on Guadalcanal did not recognize the Geneva Cross, the white band with the red cross on our arms.
Mm-hmm.
They just made a better target, especially when they hit Tulagi and Guadalcanal. So we took the armbands off, again. And then we were grateful that we carried a 45, and we were grateful for protection of our patient and also for ourselves.
Mhm. Can you elaborate some more on this Geneva Convention agreement with the corpsmen? You mentioned that they didn't respect the.
Yeah, well, we were non-combatants actually. Um, there was a difference because the Germans, they respected the Geneva Convention and also the armbands that with the Red Cross on them, but the Japanese didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty rough over there because they didn't take prisoners, and neither did we, because we hardly didn't have enough food for ourselves, so we wouldn't have enough food for the enemy either.
Mm-hmm. So, as a corpsman, what was your role when the war broke out? What did you have to do?
Well, we used to go on marches with our company,
Mm-hmm.
and well, during the war, usually if anybody got hit, if you could get to them, you would, and you'd fix them up the best you could, or maybe help bring them back to our lines. Uh, our primary function was to give first aid, comfort, and care to the wounded, whoever was wounded. And that was what we did. They trained us in warfare, to treat the wounded.
So, for example, what kind of care would you give somebody that got wounded?
Well, we treat them to the best of our ability and give them antibiotic shots. And we also give them, and we took medicine ourselves for malaria, to
Was that a common um, virus that people got?
oh yeah, it was very common, and a lot of people come down with malaria. It was transmitted by mosquitoes.
I'm curious. Did you choose to be a corpsman, or did you somehow qualify to be a corpsman because uh, of your special qualities
Well,
or abilities?
I qualified, like I said. They give us tests, and they took the highest scores, for schooling,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I qualified to go to hospital corps school. I went to hospital corps school here at the Navy Hospital in San Diego.
When you said that both sides was it the Japanese that were had shortage of food
Both sides, yeah.
in the U.S.?
Hmm. We were strapped for food too.
Why?
Well, the Japanese had they controlled some of the seas, and so did we at the time, and they kept each other off from getting supplies into their troops.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about your first um, major combat. Where was it at?
It was on Guadalcanal. One of the first combats we had, my company, of C Company, 1st Battalion, 6th Marines, that afternoon, we killed 167 enemy, Japs. And our platoon sergeant, when I got to him, his last words, or he got hit through the side into his chest, and the last words he said on this earth was, "The sons of bitches got me." And anyway, to make a long story short, they named a destroyer after him, the USS Chester O'Brien, because he saved about 4 or 5 of his company, of his platoon,
Mm-hmm.
and
Were you there when he died or when he got wounded?
yeah, I was there when he died.
Was that the first person you seen killed, or one of the first?
It was one of the first.
What went through your mind? Tell us what went through your mind to start seeing dead people. I mean, you're and then how do you feel about having that role of the role that you had, because obviously that was a very dangerous, um that's a dangerous duty to have, to go after people that are injured.
Yes. Well, I think in the Naval Service lost more. I think it was aviators and hospital corpsmen than any other rate or rank in the Navy. To give an example, in the Battle of Iwo Jima, we lost 800 corpsmen and 31 doctors in that battle. So I give you an example. It was very dangerous because I can say they were shooting at us, or shooting at, especially at the corpsmen, and I'm very thankful that I was able to come back.
Mm-hmm. Tell us how the platoon sergeant got killed. How did it happen?
Well, like we were coming down this hill down to where these Japanese were, and he barked some orders, and anyway, he saved, like I said, a few members of his platoon, and then he got hit in the side, and well, I went to his aid, and when I got to him, he would more died very shortly. But is it like I said? The last words he said was, "The sons of bitches got me."
Mm-hmm. Now, was this when he got shot? Was it by a group of Japanese men that you guys were confronting, or?
Yeah, it was the Japanese that we were confronting.
Mm-hmm. Um, Last time you said to us that this Japanese sniper had killed two soldiers.
And 2 Marines.
Was that the same?
Yeah, that was during the same skirmish, but it was a little bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
I was there was 2 Marines were wounded, and I was gonna try to get to him, and this Corporal Liggett, he said, "Wait a minute, Doc," and they called it Doc, and he held me back. And on the trunk of the tree there was a big canvas, and he held me back, and then he pulled back the canvas, and there was a Japanese soldier there, and he shot him. He killed him, but he was the one that had shot those 2 Marines that were wounded. And if I would have went past him, he would have shot me in the back too. So I was very fortunate that I had that he saved my life, actually, by holding me back, because I would wanted to get to those 2 wounded, because we were busy. We were fixing up guys that were shot up as soon as we could, We're giving them the first aid.
Now, was this something that Japanese were doing? That were doing commonly doing, to, like hiding, like snipers, or?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of sniper problems. We had a lot of snipers that they were shooting at us all the time, And then at night, they send over, we used to call him Maytag Charlie. He was an airplane. He'd come over about 3:30 or 4:30 at night. What it was just to keep us awake and not to get any rest. He'd come flying over, every night, calling Maytag Charlie. Mm-hmm. Then they also would start lobbing up these big, had a big cannons there, and they'd lob shells into us, more or less harass us and keep us from getting any rest or any sleep.
What do you guys do during nighttime to protect from the enemy?
Well, we always dug a foxhole, and we put our poncho down and got in the foxhole the best we could, because also the foxhole protected you from fragments from shells too, that come in, and burst over you or next to you, and
So was there any rest for you guys at all? Or was it a 24-hour war?
it was a 24-hour war. Yeah, I would say it was a 24-hour war. We got rest whenever we could, we could,
Was that the the incident you described with when Corporal Bennett saved your life? Was that the um was that the only occasion where you almost got hit, or that you were close to dying?
well, like I say, there was a lot of cases where they shoot us, shoot at us, and in one instance there was in one of the foxholes that they had, that dug in the side, there was a Japanese soldier there, and he had a gun. He started to raise it, and so I shot him with my 45. And but that was pretty close. But other times, though, when I went out to fix a wounded or try to get to a wounded Marines, a lot of times they were shooting at me, and I'm lucky I wasn't hit, because some of our corpsmen did get hit and killed.
Did you wear any special gear to protect yourself from the bullets?
No, we didn't wear no. I carried 2 canteens of water and 2 little packs with my first aid, medical supplies, and we also had a little, I think it was cognac, and then if they were wounded, we'd not if they had a head injury, but anywhere else, that we'd give them a shot of that was sort of a stimulant, help them.
Did you guys have any other drugs too that you guys gave the wounded people?
No,
Like codeine or any
morphine or no?
morphine?
No.
Um, how do you feel having that role? Having to go in many cases having to go in and try to help the wounded people. Was it difficult for you?
No, it wasn't too. I knew it was my job, to do it, and if I was to tell you that I wasn't scared, I wouldn't be telling you the truth, because I was scared. It was a scary business, and like I say, I'm very lucky to have come back, because I can remember them shooting at me and hitting all around me, but I just happened to be lucky to get to my patient.
Were you communicating with your parents and family at the time?
Yes, I wrote home regularly, and to my mother and my sister.
And what were the things that you missed from home the most?
Well, I miss my mother's cooking because she was one of the world's greatest cooks. And also there was certain things that you missed. You'd be surprised, like a plain ordinary hamburger and a Coke, something like that. But mostly it was because we were eating off of iron rations, those little cans of food mostly. So we did miss some home cooked meals quite a bit.
Mm. You know, you you said that a lot of corpsmen got killed in doctors. Did you ever felt that you might not come back home?
Well, no, I never had that feeling,
Or
but
doc?
it uh, it gave me a. I knew that, of course, the Marines were getting killed too, so it gave me the feeling of, well, like I say, we prayed every night and we were prepared in case something happened. But it was, if I were to say that it wasn't rough and tough, I wouldn't be telling the truth because it really was a hardship on us and a very tough part of our lives.
Hmm. How do you deal with the whole war? Um, Being in the middle of the war, how do you emotionally? How do you deal with it?
Well, I knew it was something that had to be done, and something that we had to cope with, and it was sort of scary a lot of times there where the issue was in doubt. We weren't sure how to come out. But anyway,
Can you elaborate a little more when you say the issue was in doubt and you didn't know how to come out? What do you mean by that?
well, you wouldn't know exactly how the thing would come out. I mean, how it end. Or which side would prevail. While we were there, we found out later on that the Japanese were landing a lot of reinforcements on the island, to combat us. But they were sort of fanatics. Like they'd attack us, and we'd kill them by the hundreds or dozens.
Hmm.
And they still would attack. They had a different outlook on life. We look for to protect ourselves and self-preservation, but they were trained to die for the emperor or to die. So, like I say, like even when they attack, they don't attack in a frantic way. They were more or less prepared to die. A lot more than we were. Because we still look for self-preservation and protecting ourselves the best way we could.
Hmm.
But I can truthfully say, if it hadn't been for a lot of red-headed, brown-haired, and black-haired Marines, I wouldn't be here today because they also protected me. I took care of them, but they also protected me, so I'm very grateful for that.
Did your mom give you any special advice when to that also helped you cope with the war?
No, I remember that she told me to pray and also not try not to be scared. And I always remembered that. But if I was to tell you that I wasn't scared, I wouldn't be telling you the truth because I really was scared a lot of times. It was a scary feeling.
Hmm. So after that, what did your group? also suffer a lot of casualties?
Yes, quite a few. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
I had a very dear friend of mine, Robert Burns Anderson. He got killed in Guadalcanal. Like I say, he went and helped this wounded Marine, and then he was carrying him back to our lines, and he was crisscrossing. And he just got to our lines, and they crisscrossed him in the back with a Japanese machine gun, and they killed him and his patient. But
And you were right there.
no, I wasn't there, but it happened. He was a very dear friend of mine.
After Guadalcanal, where did you guys go? Did you guys remain
Well,
there?
no, after Guadalcanal, I was a casualty. I came down with a real bad case of malaria, and I got sent home. And I got sent to.
Did you ever find out how do you get malaria?
Well, we knew that it would be coming from mosquito bites, and we also got yellow jaundice too. And I just got sent back, and I ended up at Fort Worth, medical center there, and that's where I got discharged.
Was this Fourth Ward? Where's it?
Yeah, Fort Worth, Texas.
Texas. You got discharged from there,
Yes.
and did you come back home then, or
Yeah, I came home after that.
what did you do afterwards? Did you go back home, or did you still continue? Did you go back, or
No, I came back home and I stayed here, and then at end of the year, I worked for 2 or 3 months for the post office, and then I applied for a job at North Island Naval Air Station, and I transferred over there, and I worked over there at Naval Air Station, North Island.
and what was your role there?
I was an aviation metalsmith.
And what were your duties? Duties as an aviation metalsmith.
Well, we repaired helicopters and different types of planes, and damages, damaged planes, and also put in different changes that come out, because changes come out every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. You said also your brother also what fought in World War II?
Yeah, he was he was stationed over in Hawaii. He was an aviation metalsmith.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't stay in too long. He stayed in a couple of years, I think.
But he also seen some combat.
No, he didn't see any combat there.
Was he he was in Hawaii. He didn't. So he remained in Hawaii all during World War II.
Yes.
Okay. So during the post-war, when the war was over, you stayed in North Island.
Yes.
And you retired from there.
Yes.
Did you also participate in any other uh, outside activities, association, or organizations?
Yes. Well, I was president of the Balboa Optimist Club and commander of the North Island American Legion Post. Also was commander of the First District of VFW, and also I was the First District commander, and I had 40 posts under me in San Diego County.
And what were your roles in each different position that you held?
Well, at President Optimist Club, we ran the club, to control the meetings, and also I also was twice I was the chairman of the American GI Forum.
Mhm.
That's the Mexican American Veterans Organization.
And your role there, what was?
I'm being chairman of the, and then we had different projects that we worked on and that we,
For example?
well, fighting discrimination and also finding opportunities for some of the students, you know. And then we worked on scholarships, giving kids scholarships.
So you did fundraising?
Yeah, fundraisers.
Can you tell us about the National Loyalty Day Committee?
Yeah, that's on May 1st of every year they have Loyalty Day for the veterans of foreign wars, and it's a loyalty day, loyalty to our country.
Mm-hmm.
And we usually have a program nationwide, you know, different programs, different everywhere for Loyalty Day.
Did you get involved with the BFW Don Diego's?
Yes, Well, I first joined the Veterans of Foreign Wars in '43, and I've been a continuous member ever since. And I also joined the American Legion, and I've been a continuous member ever since.
Mm-hmm. Um, what were your specific duties during the years that you work in North Island?
Well, like I say, I was an aviation metalsmith. I repaired helicopters and airplanes and such. And I also, was on different committees, and one committee I was on was the Equal Employment Opportunity Committee.
Mm-hmm.
And I served as chairman of that committee. And we fought discrimination.
How did, when you say you fought discrimination, how exactly did you what specifically did you do to ensure that discrimination or that people were not discriminated?
Well, in different different instances, if they were like discriminated against, like we open opportunities for different jobs, you know, for people to get higher education, higher pay, and
Um, did you remember any specific cases you have to intervene in, for example, or help out any people?
well, we did help some rates that, for instance, one of those I remember was like in the painting, you know, a painter, he could just go up to a foreman, but he couldn't go any higher.
Mm-hmm.
And with our help, we opened up the door where they could go, and they became superintendents, you know, and higher up, and open the door for them.
Mm-hmm. Now, did the GI Forum or the American Legion were they instrumental in creating this Equal Opportunity Committee, or how did this committee came about?
Well, it came about. I remember that the industrial relations officer called me in, and he said they were starting it up, and he wanted to know if I'd be interested in serving, you know. So I didn't have to let him know right away. Give me about a week to think it over. So then I got to thinking about it, and I thought, well, at least it helps people, you know, and like I could help people, and might put me in a position to do it. So I did. And that's when I took it, and I served on there for quite a few years.
Now, was this Education Opportunity Committee, was this was this committee formed or created as a result of the civil rights movement, or
Yeah, I think so.
uh-huh.
Yes,
Mhm. How do you think the civil rights movement helped uh, Mexican Americans in general?
Well, I think it opened doors up for better opportunities and better jobs for people,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think one good thing about it, it was just like in the service, World War II, it got to blend people in and got to know one another better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know when I was in the service, they said that different Anglos and Americans that come from other states, they said they never knew Mexican Americans until they joined the service, and then they got to know us, and then. But also, Mexican Americans are very clannish. We stick together. Sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But that way too, it helped us to get to know those people better. Of course, like I say, I was brought up in a Anglo American neighborhood, so I didn't have no problem there. But I know that I could see where other Mexican Americans, they blended in with the other people, and the people got to know Mexican American better. So that was one of the good things that come out of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
At least they got to know everybody. We got to blend in and got to know everybody better.
The World War II, for many Mexican Americans, it can be described as an eye-opening experience where a lot of people realized that they had to mobilize and take action to gain some rights, because many people got or found out that after going to war they were still not respected or seen as first class citizens. Did, did how do you yourself feel that the war helped you?
Well, it helped me to get an education, and then also helped me to integrate and then also get to know people better, and also to understand people, and it also helped me to learn to help people. If I could. I I've been in since I've been in the VFW. Most of the work that I've done has been on service. As a matter of fact, currently I'm serving on the state uh, service committee, and I served on it last year, and this is my second year serving on the committee. And it's
What is the role of the state service committee?
well, we meet 2 or 3 times a year, and we help set the policy for service. Because one of the main roles of the VFW is to give service to our veterans and also to our widows and orphans, and we help in any which way that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Make it easier on them, and whenever they need us, well, they call on the service officer, and he does what he can, to help me, especially widows when they're in the trying time, the loss of their dear one. Well, they need help and assistance, so they call on us and we help them. Then we help them with their rights and whatever, also some of the things that they might not know that they have coming to them, like Social Security and etc. Different things that they might need. It's a hard, but it's gratifying work. It makes you feel good when you help somebody. I'm also scholarship chairman for the Veterans of Foreign Wars of Mexican Ancestry, and we give 15 $500 scholarships to Mexican American seniors in high school.
What's the criteria for people who want to apply to a scholarship?
Well, usually, like we're encouraging them to go on to college. So if they're seniors and they have a 3.5 or higher grade point average, well, then we send them an application and they fill it out, and then with other recommendations that they might send in with it, then we have a selecting committee and we select the recipients of the scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
But the primary goal is to keep the Mexican Americans going on to school. Especially sometimes just a little bit of help helps them go on to college, and that's what we want to do. We want to help them to enter college and get higher, better schooling. So it's gratifying when sometime later on the student will graduate and they'll tell us that they graduated and said that the little help that we give them, although it don't sound like much, can help them buy books or clothing or something, and help them continue on to their schooling.
Mm-hmm. Did you have the opportunity to join any like Cesar Chavez, or did you participate in the Chicano movement here in San Diego?
No, outside of the American GI Forum, and also serving as on the Equal Employment Opportunity Committee at North Island. That was about it that I did.
Mm-hmm.
But they did a lot of good overall,
Mm-hmm.
So.
And the GI Forum and the American Legion, what specifically did they focus in? What kind of issues?
Well, the American GI Forum focused on discrimination and also better jobs and better salaries and etc. for the people,
Mm-hmm.
It did a lot of good. I can't remember specifically, but I remember that we received a lot of letters of thank you, and they appreciate what we did on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when a person has a problem, and it's good to have an organization that you can go to and ask them to help you, and if they can help you, they can. So it's gratifying in that respect.
Was there a specific framework that was used as an instrument to fight discrimination? Or did the GI Forum use any specific instrument to fight discrimination?
No, we usually, if they came to us with a problem, then we found that if we could help them, whatever the problem was, we'd get to the problem and help them with it, and help them to work it out. And no matter how little the problem seemed to us, to them it might be a lot, so we always tried to help them whenever we could.
Mm-hmm. The United States got involved with Korean War and the Vietnam War. What is your opinion about the U.S. involvement in Vietnam? I mean, in Korea and in Vietnam.
Well, I guess there was things that some that had to be done. The main thing that I remember about those conflicts is that we fixed airplanes and the helicopters, especially if they were damaged. We fix them so they could go back and service and put in the changes that might come out for them. But I would say that most of the people that we worked with and everything, and everybody supported our government, whatever they, they're trying to accomplish and do. And
The World War II generation, lived in different times and uh, lived through different experiences and had maybe very limited opportunities, during that period or that generation. What kind of message or advice would you give today's generation or today's children and youth, um, so that they can become better, prepare or get prepared for the future? What kind of message would you give them?
well, I think one of the things that concerns me a lot is, and it's really important, is for more schooling and to get the highest education that they can. And I remember years ago, and even lately, it seemed like the oldest person or in the family, they wouldn't even finish high school, but they'd get a job, so they could bring money back into the family to help the family. But I think it's real important, especially for the students to go as high as they can and to get the educations they can. In the long run, it'll pay off for them. And the better education they got, and the better educated that they are, it'll really help them and help them through life.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, I want to thank you for allowing us to interview you today.
Oh, thank
and
you for
again for contributing to the project. It was great, and I know your interview will be an asset to all this project that we're working on. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for thinking about me and taking the time out, and I appreciate what you're doing. And but that's one thing that we're losing over 1,000 World War II veterans a day, and it's through help through people like you that were able to pass on what happened in World War II and the experiences that went through. And I'm glad that history's not coming to a dead end or dead still. That is going on, and people later on will read about us and know about us. And because war isn't fun at all, and it's really tough, and it's an experience that you never forget. And it's the training that you get and the discipline and stays with you. And it helps to become a better citizen, a better American, and a better person. But I want to thank you for your help and cooperation, and it was a nice interview. I appreciate your interest in especially World War II veterans. I know they'll appreciate it too.
Thank you. Do you sometimes feel that World War II veterans are sometimes pushed to the side, and maybe that society does not remember their great contributions that they have made?
Well, maybe a little bit. I think I was reading here last week or something where they started the groundwork for a World War II memorial, and it was about time that they start that. So I was grateful to see that they started that World War II memorial for World War II veterans. And
What about the role of Mexican or Mexican Americans? Do you feel sometimes that their contributions are overseen or never acknowledged or honored?
well, you know, in the World War II and the Korean War, there were another ethnic group. Mexican Americans got more Congressional Medal of Honors than any other ethnic group, you know. And for the 500,000 that served, 250,000 got the Purple Heart. And there wasn't a Rodriguez, a Gonzalez, or a Lopez, or a Spanish surname that was a traitor to his country or the United States of America. Oh, it's sort of something to be proud of, you know. And
What was the number again of Mexican Americans that were in World War II?
of 500,000 in World War II and Korean War, 250,000 got the Purple Heart. That means they were either killed or wounded, and there wasn't a Spanish surname like Lopez, Gutierrez, Guadarrama, or Martinez.
Were there opportunities for Mexican Americans and the militaries to go up and higher command ladder?
Yeah, it's
How often that occur?
well, they didn't like I was a regular, you know, I was a regular, and there wasn't hardly too many of us uh, in the service at that time. Matter of fact, it was a real small percentage. But later on, I was grateful to learn and hear where Mexican Americans did get commissions and higher appointments and better positions, you know. So I think overall, I think everything's coming for the better, you know. I think that we should keep striving to better our people, Mexican Americans, and especially I can't stress it enough for letting young people know of the importance of getting an education. So at least let them graduate from high school, and if they can go on to college, well, help them, you know. Um, I'm grateful to see other organizations helping Mexican Americans, especially with scholarships and encouraging them to go on to higher learning. So that's real important. It don't seem important at the time, but they'll be grateful later on through life that they did go to school and yeah, achieve their goals, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Making. It is said that Guadalcanal was one of the bloodiest battles. How was there any time in which uh you were unable to cope with that reality? You know, maybe going insane, or did you see anyone lose it in the war?
No, luckily I didn't. I it was it was a very scary business, you know. It was but outside of that, it seemed like everything was under control most of the way, you know. And it but if I were to tell you that I wasn't scared at sometimes, I wouldn't be telling you the truth because I really was scared, you know. And I'm grateful that I was come out okay and I was able to come back home, you know. And
Oh. When you learned that the American had dropped the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, how did you react to that?
well, I was sad for the people that got hurt, you know, in that dropping the bomb, but also realized the thousands and probably millions of lives that they saved by not making the landings over there, because they would have really been costly, you know. You know, all the Marine landings that they've made, they suffer 40% casualties. So you can just imagine the probably would have even been worse, you know. But um, I hope that we have a lot of peace and peace in the world, and hope the nations get along better, you know.
Do you think the wars would always be an ongoing process in humanity?
Well, I hope not. I really hope not. I hope that sometime it'll phase out or come to an end, you know, and everybody will get along better. Of course, different problems and turmoils keep turning up, you know, periodically. Something that we can't help, you know. But I hope that everything will come out okay. I have faith, and I think that the majority of the people in the world want peace, you know, and get along with everybody. And so we'll see. We hope everything comes out okay, you know.
Um, from your experiences, what were your observations of the African American experience in World War II?
So the who?
African Americans.
African. Well, you know, when I joined the Navy, I was real surprised because I played basketball for the training center team. And then when we got through with the boot camp, you know, they said that all of us could go to any school or to any station that we, you know, we applied for if we could, you know, except the Filipinos and the African Americans, you know, the blacks. They could only become cooks, stewards, you know, in the Navy. So I was real surprised because that was another time that I felt discrimination, not against me, but against them, because they couldn't be anything else. Now they can, you know, since President Truman. But at that time, they just couldn't do it, you know.
Could Mexicans be anything else?
Yeah, the Mexican Americans could go anywhere you want, you know, as high as you can.
Hmm. What was your reaction to this?
That was the reaction.
Your reaction to discrimination?
Oh, I was sort of surprised and sort of well, it became sort of a surprise to me, you know. I wouldn't expect it, you know.
Thank
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time and